Ryan Poles, Bears GM, speaking to Peter King for Football Morning in America. It's now when, not if, the Bears trade out of number one. The question is, when do they do it? Said Poles to King. Should we do this before free agency or should we wait? I don't know. That's what I've communicated to teams. I could carry this all the way until we're on the clock the night of the draft. But then there's teams that want some certainty because if I need a quarterback badly, should I do that now when some of these guys like Derek Carr are out there? To me, they've got to go so much more above to do it now. I'm not greedy with it, but they're going to have to go above and beyond to close the door now. But that really is the key. Look at the teams in the top 10. We broke this down last week, and we addressed the possibility of the Bears trading multiple times. Hell, they could trade 3 times, 1 to 2 with the Texans, 2 to 4 with the Colts, and then 4 to 8 or 9 with the Falcons or the Panthers, if it all came down to it. But if those teams go out and address their needs in free agency, if the Panthers would add Derek Carr, if the Falcons would make a move for Lamar Jackson, that all changes, Chris. So there's a sweet spot that allows Ryan Poles to maximize his haul by having the most teams at the table. And if they start addressing their needs elsewhere, that changes.
Yeah, right. So I know that's where, I guess there's I'm still kind of processing what he said there, where he's saying if they want to do it right now, right? He's saying that it's going to cost more. Okay, I guess I understand that. I do, but those teams like you're talking about, they have options out there right now too. So they might not willing to, bend to those demands at this point. But I understand that. And I think, I think what I understand is that I would think there's going to be a big time market. I would. Again, who is it going to be that everybody trades up to go to, be number one? Who do they want? So I think that's what, the Bears are going to have to continue to do what Ryan Poles told us last week. Evaluate these quarterbacks a little bit to get the true feel for the value of them. But, yeah, I would think that one of these teams, again, the way Houston at 2, the Colts at 4. If I'm the Raiders at 7 or the Panthers at 9, definitively 2 teams that we know are looking for quarterbacks. The Falcons are kind of on the fence right now, it seems like. But 7 and 9, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that if I'm the Panthers or the Raiders and I don't want to run, the Richardson offense, right? Not Anthony Richardson. What the heck's his first name? I'm blanking out on his first name. Our kid from Florida, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
I'm
Anthony.
right.
It's
yeah.
Anthony.
Sorry.
What are you talking about? It's Anthony.
I don't know why I started second guessing myself. But if you don't want that guy, right? You don't want to play that style of football, right? Josh McDaniels wants a pocket passing type of quarterback, right? Frank Reich wants a pocket passing type of quarterback. They got to be nervous with where they're sitting right now. They got to. Because, you could sit there and be, out in the cold, at least one of the two. So those are things that are going to have to get figured out here in the next few weeks. And that goes into that Derek Carr conversation and Aaron Rodgers. And that all gets lumped into this where teams over this next week or 10 days are going to really have to figure out what they want to do.
And see, that's where that sweet spot possibly arises. Maybe it doesn't. You want to get to the point where teams have fallen in love with the guy they want because that's a way to shake more out of them. But some of those teams may pivot to another option before they fall in love with that quarterback. I think you want to have David Tepper at the table to maximize your haul because I think he's so damn fed up with the fact that they can't convince anyone to go to Carolina, any franchise quarterback that's available from a veteran perspective. They're just going to make sure they draft the guy that they want. And once they figure out who it is, I think Tepper's going to do whatever he has to do to go get him. And he'll pick and choose historical data to justify what he wants to do. And what he wants to do is give up whatever he has to give up to go get that pick. I want that pick. It's going to be viewed as a victory for him to get the guy he wants. And I think the longer he's around, the better the chance the Bears have to really end up with a significant haul, thanks to the fact that the Texans beat the Colts in Week 18 and blew the number 1 overall pick. And look, I don't believe in full season tanking. I don't think you should just mail it in for an entire campaign and just accept that you're going to be the worst team in football and have the first overall pick. But damn it, if it's hanging in the balance in Week 18, you lean into it and you take it. Who gives a rat's ass that the Texans beat the Colts in Week 18? What? So they were 4-13 instead of 3-14, well, whoop-de-freaking-do. But now, look at what they may have to give up to get to number one or get jumped by someone else because they don't want to give up anything to get the spot that they could have had if they simply just hadn't won that last meaningless game. I'm telling you, look, there are times when it makes sense to lose, not full season, and you know the spot where it's okay is somewhere between going into the season week one, intending to lose all year long, like I think Stephen Ross did going into 2019, and just accepting the fact that it's the end of the road, and all we have to do is lose this game to win the number one overall pick. Yeah. We're not going to try all that hard to win this game because we want that number one overall pick. I mean, come on. Look, the fact that Ryan Poles thinks he can get a 2024 first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick, and still get a top 6 or 8 player for that number one overall pick, it shows you how valuable it is, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's got tremendous value. We know that. I mean, it's allows a team to do whatever they want and be in that power position, let alone, like you've always talked about, when you're the number one pick, you get a free month or 5 weeks of being like the number one team talked about and publicity and everything that goes along with it. You know, and yeah, they're in a position here where, you know, it looks awesome for them. It does. And, you know, you talk about David Tepper. Yeah, they'd be one of those teams that I would look at that I would go, yeah, I think they need to make a move. You know, if I were them, I wouldn't want to go the Derek Carr or the older free agent type of thing. I think it's time now to make your move. Go for it. And, you know, what I also think is going to be interesting in this, Mike, you know, I do think Bryce Young's measurables are going to scare people. And I think there's going to be some teams that are going to go, man, I want C.J. Stroud or Will Levis, the prototypical guys, right? You know, Bryce Young, I think, is not going to be everybody's, you know, cup of tea. And, you know, of course, Anthony Richardson is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But any team that's looking to, you know, throw the ball through the pocket traditional way, man, they're going to look at C.J. Stroud and go, that's the man right there. And then Will Levis is going to be another one that's going to be in that conversation. I think there's going to be great value in, you know, those two guys and people chasing and trying to position themselves for those two guys, Mike.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.